So the Oklahoma City Thunder are your 2025 NBA champions after a final series that went the distance and was just so much fun to watch. It all came down to Game 7 and man, it was an absolute war. This Pacers team just refused to go away quietly. They fought every single game down to the final buzzer and just made life miserable really on every opponent they faced throughout the playoffs. They punched back every time the Thunder made a run and made this a series that fans are going to remember for a long time on both sides of the equation. But unfortunately, in the opening minutes of Game 7, everything changed when Tyrese Haliburton suffered a devastating Achilles tear, and you knew at the moment it happened. He kind of fell forward awkwardly and just immediately started grimacing in pain, pounding the floor. It was tough to watch, just a heartbreaking way for such a magical Pacers run to come to an end. You could see the air get sucked out of that team. They tried to keep it close, but without their leader, it was just too much to overcome. Still though, massive respect to Indiana and what they built this season, but ultimately it was the Thunder that got it done, persevered, and became NBA champions on their home floor, making all the pain and all the heartbreak Thunder fans have dealt with for years and years go away. Shout out to Sam Presti, shout out to this young, hungry core. This wasn't just a team that came out of nowhere, this was years in the making. This was a full-blown rebuild that turned into a championship, and now they sit at the top of the basketball world. In this video, I want to talk about everything that happened from when the Thunder were founded to now in 2025 when the Thunder became champions. But first off, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 60,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, let's talk about this. Let's really take a step back and appreciate just how far this organization has come, because 25 years ago, this franchise didn't even exist in Oklahoma City. The roots of the Thunder go all the way back to 1967 when the Seattle Supersonics were born. They had a rich history in the Pacific Northwest with players like Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp, and that 1979 championship banner still technically belongs to the Thunder franchise, but everything changed in 2008. That's when Clay Bennett, the Oklahoma businessman who had purchased the team, moved it to OKC after failed efforts to keep the team in Seattle, and just like that, the Thunder were born. The early years in OKC were definitely rocky. In their first season as the Thunder in 2008 and 2009, the team went just 23-59. But here's where the real story really begins. That year, a 20-year-old Kevin Durant was in his second NBA season, and Sam Presti had already quietly begun to build something. In 2007, he drafted Durant with the number 2 pick when the franchise was still in Seattle. Then in 2008, he followed that up by drafting Russell Westbrook at number 4 overall, a move that was heavily criticized at the time. 1 year later in 2009, he also drafted James Harden with the number 3 overall pick. So that's 3 MVPs right there, back to back to back within 3 drafts. Absolutely insane. The Thunder had assembled a young core that would take them all the way to the NBA Finals, and that 2012 Thunder team was absolutely electric. I was too young to really understand what was happening, but Durant, Westbrook, and Harden were all in their early 20s. Serge Ibaka was emerging as a defensive star, and Scott Brooks had this team flying up and down the court. They beat Dirk Nowitzki's Mavericks, they knocked off Kobe's Lakers, and then they took out the Spurs to win the West. But when they got to the finals, they ran into a buzzsaw, a super team in the form of LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and the Miami Heat. They lost in 5 games, and while it felt like this was just the beginning, it ended up being the peak for that version of the team. That offseason, Sam Presti made the controversial decision to trade James Harden to the Houston Rockets. It was a money decision, it was a fit decision, but whatever it was, everything changed. The Thunder remained competitive through the rest of the decade, mostly because Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook were just that good. Durant won the MVP in 2014, where he famously made that speech dedicating the award to his mother. Westbrook became a triple-double machine, but the window was starting to close. In 2016, the Thunder were 1 win away from knocking off the 73-9 Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. They were up 3-1, and then it all unraveled. Klay Thompson caught fire in Game 6. The Warriors came back to win the series, and just a few weeks later, Durant shocked the basketball world by making a crazy decision to leave OKC to join the Warriors to officially become a snake. It was a gut punch. Durant was public enemy number 1 in Oklahoma City, but to their credit, the Thunder regrouped, Westbrook stayed, signed an extension, and in 2017, he averaged a triple-double and won MVP. The team brought in Paul George and Carmelo Anthony and tried to rebuild around Russ, but they flamed out early in the playoffs in back-to-back years, and by 2019 it was clear the time had come to blow it up. That's when Sam Presti went back to work once again. In the summer of 2019, he pulled off 2 blockbuster trades. First, he sent Paul George to the Clippers in exchange for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Danilo Gallinari, and also a few first-round picks. Then he traded Russell Westbrook to the Rockets for Chris Paul and even more picks, and just like that, the rebuild was on. And looking back in hindsight, those were 2 absolutely genius moves. Obviously at the time they were a little controversial and they kind of took the basketball world by storm, but looking back, those are some of the craziest trades honestly in NBA history now that the Thunder have won the finals and we know how everything has worked out. The 2019 to 2020 season was supposed to be a so-called tank year, or at least a year where the team regressed from how they played over the last few seasons before that, but Chris Paul, Gallinari, and Shai led the Thunder to a surprise playoff berth. They pushed the Rockets to 7 games in the bubble. I still remember that series. It was great basketball, but it was clear that OKC was playing with house money. That offseason, they traded Chris Paul to the Suns and leaned into the youth movement, and that's when things really started to take shape. Sam Presti started stockpiling picks, dozens of them, first rounders, pick swaps, second rounders, anything he could get, he got. It was like how you rebuild a team in my league or my NBA, whatever it's called now. He drafted Josh Giddey in 2021, a tall, crafty point forward out of Australia. He drafted Jalen Williams in 2022, a high IQ wing out of Santa Clara, who quickly became a fan favorite. But the biggest move came in 2022 when the Thunder drafted Chet Holmgren with the number 2 overall pick. The 7-foot unicorn out of Gonzaga missed his entire rookie season with a foot injury, but the Thunder didn't panic. They were building this the right way, piece by piece, and they stayed patient and stuck to the process. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander took a big leap in 2023, making his first All-Star appearance, and he ended up finishing top 5 in MVP voting. Chet came back healthy in 2024 and looked like a future Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and by the time the 2024-2025 season rolled around, everyone knew the Thunder were coming, and they finished with the best record in the Western Conference. They were young, they were deep, they were fearless, and they played with a level of chemistry you just don't see in today's NBA. And now here we are, about 20 years after relocating from Seattle, 13 years after their last finals appearance, the Oklahoma City Thunder are NBA champions, which is just crazy to say. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was named Finals MVP after averaging 28 points and delivering clutch shot after clutch shot down the stretch. Chet Holmgren was dominant on defense, altering shots and giving the Pacers nightmares in the paint. He had a big block in Game 7. Jalen Williams was everywhere. He guarded, he scored, he passed, he did everything. And even guys like Lou Dort and especially Isaiah Hartenstein played key roles throughout the postseason. This was not a fluke at all. This was a team that was built the right way from start to finish, and the future is still bright. I definitely think the Thunder can win another 1 or 2 finals over the next 5 to 7 years. They have a ton of picks, they have a ton of assets. Obviously they do have to pay their players, but still, they're young and they are scary, man. I would not want to be a fan of any other franchise. I'm a Cleveland Cavaliers fan myself, so it's not the worst situation to be in, but the Thunder, man, their future is bright, and it is all thanks to Sam Presti and what he did over the last decade. Presti remained patient when everyone else was rushing. He made the hard decisions. He kept the long view in mind. And now, like I just said, the Thunder are not just champions. They're set to be dominant for a long time. They still have cap flexibility. They still have cap flexibility. They still have a million first-round picks in the years to come. It's like a Kenny Beecham King of the Fourth Quarter rebuild where you just stack up picks and trade everyone away. That's basically what Sam Presti did. Their core is all under 26 years old. This is not the end. This is just the beginning. It really is a special moment for Oklahoma City, a small market team that stayed the course, developed their guys, and now they stand on top of the basketball world. And I mean, all I can think about right now is Lost and Unbound. That's the first channel I looked up immediately after the Thunder won, and thank goodness he posted. And while it's bittersweet for fans in Seattle who wish they had a team of their own, and I hope they do get one in the next few years or even decades, I hope at some point they do because they had such a good fan base and Seattle is a basketball town, but there's no denying what OKC has built. From Kevin Durant to Russell Westbrook, from heartbreak in 2016 to a title in 2025, this journey has been a roller coaster, but today it's all worth it. So yeah guys, what do you all think? If you're a Thunder fan, let me know what your emotions are right now. I still still remember being a 5th grader watching my Cleveland Cavaliers win an NBA title, with LeBron delivering his promise to come home and bring a championship to the city of Cleveland, and of course they came back from 3-1. That was probably arguably one of the greatest finals in NBA history. But this one, besides, I know this game wasn't like the closest because of that injury, but this series was absolutely electric. It was great basketball. Let me all know what you thought about this NBA season and where it ranks in the last decade, because I thought there were some really fun moments. But that's really all I have to say for this one. Thank you all so much for watching and following me all season long. I know it's been a while since I made an NBA video, but we're back at it. I had to make a video about this. I'm sure I'll make one about the Kevin Durant trade because that was crazy. He's going to Houston. But yeah, thank you all so much once again for watching, and until next time, I will see you all later.